Pregame.com.
CFL rule changes for the 2015 season still flying under the radar a couple of weeks into the season. Hey everybody, Scott Spreitzer, Steve Fezzik, you're watching Pregame.tv. And Steve, CFL scoring fell to a ridiculous low per game average in 2014. Here come the rule changes.
Absolutely, and good management in the CFL, they realize people are labeling the CFL now as boring, not enough scoring going on, and they went ahead and implemented new rules changes. Let me go through them here. Two key changes occurred. One is defensive contact, not allowed 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, and they can actually review this. The coaches on either side can throw the orange flags, and well, I don't know if they're orange, but if the referees don't throw the orange flags as a penalty, they can go ahead and ask for a review. The coaches on it, at bottom line, you can't touch the receivers past 5 yards. A second rules change that occurred that's falling under the radar is that on punts, the 5 interior linemen cannot release until the ball is kicked. And you may say this is no big deal. Anyone who's watched Brandon Banks and all 153 pounds of him for Hamilton returning kicks can see it is a special teams touchdown. It's going to happen over and over with teams with kick return specialists like this. It's just a matter of time when the scoring is going to occur, but it hasn't gone up yet, Scott.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if I can remember 30 plus years ago when I first got into watching the CFL as a kid, as a teenager, and we used to watch it, and the big joke was to the NFL from CFL fans in Canada, you go ahead and have your 10-7 or 13-7 field goal defensive touchdown matches. We're going to have our 48-42 matches up here, which are much more exciting. Then, as I mentioned, scoring fell apart, but you mentioned the rule changes. But the thing is, so far on these rule changes, I was looking back at the July 4th weekend of 2014. The total is 50, 55, 56. The sports books have yet to adjust to these potential rule changes.
Yeah, and I'm already, Scott, to fire here. It's week 3 in the CFL coming up, and I'm ready to start playing overs because I know in the NFL, week 3 and week 4, the scoring increases. That's when the offenses start getting their groove on and being able to score. But the NFL has 4 preseason weeks. Did some research. In the CFL, they only have 2 preseason games before they start. It turns out, at least in recent history, it's week 5 that the switch gets thrown, and I saw on the scoring that the average scoring in weeks 3 and 4 in the CFL was only 42 and 45 points. The last 2 years, it went up to 50 and 49 points starting week 5. So bottom line, I'm going to be looking to play some CFL overs, but I got to wait a couple more weeks. I think that's the optimal sweet point where I got the rules changes and I got the offenses starting to click.
I think it's a great point comparing CFL preseason being half of what we get in the NFL. And as we've always said for years is that, defenses are ahead of the offenses early in the season. My one caveat as I toss it back to you is this. Before the season began, and we're talking even before the preseason, we were talking about this. I think it was Dave Koken with me. We were talking about it on First Preview. And I said, I think it might take effect early in the season when the officials are all thinking about, the rule change, what we got to do, we got to blow the whistles. And then 4 or 5 weeks down the line, maybe they forget about those new rules a little bit more and they start to call things they've grown used to, almost second nature in the way of calling games. So, I'll leave you with that.
Yeah, and I think if as soon as I have a week where everybody scores 60 points, then all of a sudden I think that may well occur. But I firmly believe that the CFL is going to go ahead and send a memo out, hey, make sure you call all these penalties because we want more scoring in this league. Smart for the CFL to change the rules. Smart for them to want more scoring. We are going to be doing videos all summer long on football. Doesn't matter. College football, NFL, and the CFL. Stay with us. Pregame.tv.